Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Just gonna do another Tales from the Kitchen video. And oddly enough, I'm not working in kitchens anymore, and let's hope it stays that way because I've been doing it so long that yeah, I've grown very weary of it. I just got tired of it. I want to move on, try something else. And a friend of mine uh, helped me find a job doing something completely different. I'm not going to get into what it is. It's nothing super crazy, but it's definitely a lot different than working in a kitchen ever was. So, but I will be still telling stories about the kitchens and things I've done in the past working there. I got some funnier ones coming up and a little bit more interesting ones. There's so many stories to tell, and I really like talking about them. So, fix my shirt, get rid of this hair or whatever that is. That I don't even know what that is. I think it's sweat from working today because this is the shirt I was wearing. But anyway, I'm not stopping the video to change my shirt. But this is video. It's 10 people. If you're new to the industry or if you're starting out in the industry, there's 10 people that you will meet in the kitchen. And overall, you are going to meet a lot of people if you're new at this, or if you've been doing it a long time, you already know this. You're going to work with men, women, young, old, pretty much every. I've worked with every race you can probably think of. You're going to see a lot of tattoos. You're not going to see a lot of piercings per se because most restaurants you have to take them out for hygiene reasons. But there's a lot of people, a lot of sexual orientations, gay, straight, bi, whatever. There's just everybody. It's a very eclectic group of people when you're in there. But these are 10 people you will meet in the kitchen. Um, Starting off, just simple. The go-to guy. And just to clarify this, I'm not talking about managers. I'm not talking about the chefs. I'm just talking about the staff in general. Not sous chefs, not first cooks, and like in terms of titles, just the types of personalities and things you're going to meet in the kitchen. But so starting off, yeah, is going to be the go-to guy. He's the guy that kind of knows everything. He may have been the chef at one time. A lot of times, I was the go-to guy after I decided to quit managing and not actually working as the chef. So that's the guy that most people ask the questions. They might even go like people who come to me often before going to the chef because a lot of times the managers or the chefs they can be a little bit cranky. I'm a pretty laid back person and I don't mind answering the questions. And there's always going to be that one guy that you really want to talk to that you look up to or people seem to respect and really like. And when it came to stuff like that, I was often that guy. Second one, you're going to meet the comedian. There's always one guy in the kitchen. Again, you can be more than one of these people, and there could be more than one of these people there. But the comedian, the guy who likes to play pranks on people, tell jokes, get people happy, keep people in a good mood, And I was pretty much that in most of the places I've worked at, and it's also a lot of fun being that guy because people also tend to gravitate to you more because they know that you're a nice person. um, Quick example of one place I worked at, they were doing some construction in the ceiling, and there was a big hole in the ceiling, and I found this mask. It was around Halloween time, so I bought a mask at the dollar store. I found this mask there, and I took a balloon and blew it up, put the mask on the balloon, and stuck the mask up in the ceiling. And it was just peeking out enough, and it was dark enough that you couldn't see it unless you looked up at it. And people would look at it and they'd jump and they'd laugh, and they'd know it was me because I was the guy who was always playing the jokes. And then there was this one girl who was a little loopy in the head, and she saw it and she let out this blood curdling scream that they heard from the office, and everybody come running out, what's happening? And she's yelling and having a fit and saying, I'm going to give someone a heart attack and all this other bullshit. But she was a troublemaker. She was front of house though, not back house, and I will do a video like this about front of house people as well. But yeah, it was funny. It made it even more funny. And the fact I left it there, she was expecting the managers to yell at me, and they just told her to relax. It's a joke, calm down, and that was the end of that. And I think I might have been managing at the time. I can't remember. It was quite a while ago. Number three, you're going to meet the perv. There's always a guy, and I don't mean a creepy perv who's trying to be all touchy and that sort of thing. Usually just a guy that's just saying off-color jokes. But within without crossing the line. You know, you take it to the line, and again, I was often that guy. I'm not going to lie, but my attitude about that, as long as you're not taking it too far where it's offensive, and you're saying it to the right people, because there's certain people you can say things to, and they're going to see the humor in it, and other people may not. So I don't advise it just to start off in a place and start saying creepy jokes and that sort of thing, or even start telling jokes all the time. You know, build up to it, see who, get to know the personalities, get to know the people, because you're not always, not everybody's going to find the same things funny. But generally speaking, there's always that one guy who's telling the dirty jokes and saying the off color things. Um, Number four, and you're going to find this is also in, these are for the most part in bigger kitchens, corporate kitchens, generally speaking. Um, the list so far, you're going to get that stinky guy. And there's always one stinky guy. And if you're working in a kitchen and there isn't a stinky guy, you're probably the stinky guy. I'm not going to lie. There's always one guy who just doesn't seem to quite understand how deodorant works or why people wear it. And yeah, I've worked with my share of people like that. That's you didn't even want to stand near. There's one guy, I believe his name is Andre, and you could smell him like he had a stink trail behind him. It was gross, needless to say, and to say the least. It was not good to be near him. And his nephew worked there too, and he had the same issue. And it's like, what is with your family? You don't know how to rub a little thing under your armpits every morning? Like, I don't get it. But there's always that there's always one stinky person, at least. After that, you got your drunks. There's always someone in there who drinks, um, usually on the job. Now I like to drink. I mean, I've up to 100 beer tasting videos. I'll probably be doing another one tomorrow or the day after. So keep your eyes open for that. And speaking of videos, if you want to like this video and you want to subscribe and help me get up to 1,000 subscribers, that would be fantastic, and I would really appreciate that. And I think there's a cat behind me. There's a cat bum. There's a cat bum again. Okay, there's a cat bum behind me. But so yeah, there's always that guy who drinks on the job. Most of them are functioning. Now over the years, yeah, there's places I've worked at where everybody kind of drank on the job, including myself. But I've never been drunk at work. I would never recommend that at any job, and I certainly don't do that. I haven't done that in years. But there's always that one person, and that's also the same person a lot of times that after work you go out and they get out of control, blackout, shittered. And there was one guy I worked with where we went somewhere to a bar, and he just went crazy, and he went outside and he passed out. We had to call. It was me and this other guy that worked there, and we had to call 911, and it was ridiculous. There was, I don't know, 3 fire trucks, a couple cruisers, a few ambulances. I'm like, for this guy? And then he ended up in the hospital. They took him to the hospital because where else are they going to take him? And apparently he had an issue at the hospital and he got arrested, and then he didn't come back to work anymore. But yeah, and then another guy I work with, very similar attitude. Place after work, we would sit at the bar and have a couple beers. And this guy, he was drinking the cooking wine in the kitchen apparently, and we were all outside. It was after, like, it wasn't after last call, but the restaurant itself was closed, and we were having a few drinks. I had actually left at this point, but he tried to steal everybody else's beers after he chugged his own. And then they actually told him to leave, and he's walking around. And he punched through one of the windows and the doors, and he got arrested. And those are extreme cases, but there is always that one guy who always seems to like drinking while he's at work, or she. You know, it's not necessarily a guy thing. And that, on the same token, there's always this is number 6. There's always the person who likes to be high or fucked up on something. Sorry, I just got this weird tickle in my tooth or in my gum. I think I got a beard hair in there or something. But there's always that one person who's got to smoke up before coming into work. Now, anytime I've been managing or the chef, my attitude about that was, if you want to drink before work, have a couple drinks. as long as you're coming in and you can function, I don't care. Yeah, I know it's you're not supposed to and everything else, but my attitude is if you can function, I couldn't care less. Don't get messed up while you're working. Don't do it in front of me, and just stay in control. But I don't recommend it. I don't condone it overly, but I know I can't stop it if someone smokes up before they come in or does something else, something harder, or drinks. I can't do anything to stop that. When I'm managing, I can just recommend don't doing that. So I was like, if you're gonna do it, just be functional. Don't get all fucked up and then not be able to do your job because then you will get fired. Um, but also the druggy guy was usually the weekend drug person who would throats all dry, go to raves and things like that, or go to parties and just get completely wrecked and but still come in the next day and be able to do their job. There's always that guy. And a lot of times the less extreme alcoholics, or I don't want to say alcoholic, that's not fair. People that like to drink, because I'm sort of in that category where I like to drink on my day off and I can come in hungover and do my job, not a problem. But you got that. Number 7, this is more in smaller kitchens, and it's an unfortunate truth, is bigots, homophobes, racists. You're going to get that usually in small independent kitchens. Holy crap, I need to drink of water again. That's better. But you're going to get that. Number 1, there's no one to turn to. And depending on the owner of the restaurant and their attitudes, they'll often turn a blind eye as long as and sadly it's usually the chef that has that attitude. But as long as they're bringing in a profit and it's a small independent place, a lot of times they turn a blind eye to it. And I've had to deal with that. So many people when I was working in independent restaurants, which was a good 12 years of my career. And it was ridiculous, some of the things that would say. And you're still working with different ethnic backgrounds, and you still got that one guy who doesn't give a shit because he's profitable. And it's an unfortunate truth, but you do get that. I've never personally been that guy in the kitchen, so I'm happy for that, and that will never change for me. But I don't like that environment, and I'm glad I don't really have to deal with that anymore. Number 8, your dog fucker. There's always a dog fucker. And what I mean by that, if you don't know what that means, it's not a guy who goes out and does things with animals or a girl who goes out and does things with animals. It's just a term that someone who doesn't do their job. The phrase is just, I don't know where it comes from. It's just fucking the dog or making pups, depending on who's saying it to you. But there's always that one person who just kind of doesn't really do anything. They do the basic minimum, but they're slow and they usually don't stick around very long. But there's always that person. Sad truth is, if it's a small place, a lot of the times it's a relative of the owner, and they can get away with it a little bit more. And I can't stand working with people like that because I don't like having to bring up the slack. But there is always that one person. If it's in, like I said, if it's in a big kitchen, that person either doesn't last there very long, or they're there one or 2 days a week because their hours just get cut because there's no point in keeping them there. And that's usually after they've done their 3 months probation. But there's often that one person. Number 9, you got that one person that nobody understands. Whether it's an accent or they talk too fast or they talk too quiet. And I've worked with a lot of people like that where you'll ask a question, you say, wait, what? What do you say? I don't know. Like, what? Like, point at it. Like, there's times I'll ask someone where something is, or they'll ask me a question, and a lot of times I'll just say, you know what, just write it down because I don't know what you're saying, can't understand you. And it's not necessarily their fault. Usually it's a language barrier thing, but there's always one person you can't understand. And it doesn't mean they're bad workers. I've worked with a lot of people that bust their ass and do, they're excellent workers. They know their shit, but you just don't know what the hell they're saying, especially when you're busy. But there's always that one person. Number 10, these are the people I dislike the most, is your snitch. And I also like to call them the know-nothing know-it-alls, because usually they don't know as much as they think they know, but they talk a big game. And then when it gets time to really knuckle down and bust your ass when it's really busy during like a dinner rush or whatever, and they want to try and call board, and they can't keep up, and there's I need this, and half the time somebody's got to jump in and do the job for them because they can't do it. And they're also the same person that wants to make themselves look better by running to the managers every time they see something that they think shouldn't be getting done, shouldn't be happening. Like they just want to get somebody in trouble to make themselves look good. There was a guy, and I don't mind saying his name was Sean. I'm not going to say his last name, but I did do a video about him if you want to scroll down a little bit. And it's called Kitchens Are a No Snowflake Zone. But it's one of the Tales from the Kitchen videos, one of the first ones I did. But yeah, there's always that one guy who just wants to get everybody else in trouble so he can, or she, sorry, I keep saying he, but generally speaking, kitchens are a predominantly male environment. But but you always have that one person. And this guy, he was one person took home an extra pound of chicken wings one time, and he went right to the manager, and the guy got fired the next day. He lost his job because of this guy. And a few days later, he accused me. I was drinking one of my ice caps, and he took a sip out of it, and then went and told people, the manager and the chef and everybody else, that there was alcohol in it. And the manager took it, nothing in it. They didn't taste it, but they couldn't smell anything on it. And then the chef, who was already gone, the next day he questioned me about it. We had a nice little talk about it for about 10 minutes outside. And I don't know, he was just trying to get me fired for whatever reason. We never liked each other, me and this guy, Sean. But I don't know, that was years ago now, like long time ago. So I don't really care about him anymore. But it was just, he just was one of those guys. But there's always that one person in the kitchen that will sit there and watch what you're doing. And then if they think you're doing something wrong, they'll be the first one to try and get you in trouble. But they'll also be the person that tries to be your friend. They're just backstabbing everybody, or they try and tell you how to do something you already know how to do, and they're usually telling you the wrong way to do it. But anyway, hello, I'm gonna fight yours sending there. But yeah, these are 10 people you will meet in the kitchen. There are other types of people that you will meet, but these are the 10 main ones. Like I said, you know, your go-to guy, your comedian, your creepy pervy guy who isn't really that creepy and pervy, the stinky guy, the alcoholic, the druggie. You got your bigots, of course, your dog fucker who doesn't do anything, and the guy no one understands, and your snitch. But that's it for this list, and thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe and just help me get up to 1,000 peeps, that would really help me out, and I'd really be happy about that. And if you want to hit that like button too, that'd be kind of cool, or make a comment below. And if you got stories to tell about kitchens that you've worked in, or kitchens you're currently working in, and or if you have questions about eventually working into getting into the industry or being a chef or whatever, make a comment below and I'll get back to you. I usually get back to them, all the comments, because I don't really get a whole lot. So feel free to comment and watch some of my other videos or whatever you want to do. And have a good day and a good night. And until the next one, bye.